Welcome to the 7th Fleet Building Tournament. Festivities will start in just a few minutes. That was kind of a blast, wasn't it? Alright, getting things set up. Getting the bracket. There we go. Alright. Hey, Grievous. How's it going? Hey, Lightning. Just a couple minutes until my official start time. This is going to be a somewhat fast round, probably. We are doing the semi-finals of the lower bracket and best of 3. Ah, you can't hear me. Is everything kind of quiet? You know, I've been messing with my sound settings to try to get this back, everything louder, but apparently it's done the opposite. I'm not sure what's up there. Let me see if I can adjust my settings. Okay. How is this? Any better? Hi, Radic Plug. Hey, Kitsmees. Oh, good. Okay. I just had a setting on wrong or something then. Alright then, I think it is 2 o'clock my time. It's time to get started. So this is the 6th round now? 6th round. We are in the semi-finals of the lower bracket. And today will be Dizzy versus Johan and SafariJohn versus HGScout. Now, because we let people change their variants between rounds, unfortunately, there's just only 2 fights today, and that's just what we have from the bracket. So we're going to be doing best of 3, and we've changed the map up slightly to make it only 1 capture point, so hopefully you won't see this single frigate running ahead to get popped. So without any further business, let's get this started. So we have Dizzy 2 Electric Boogaloo versus Johan. And I see May the Best Enforcers Win versus Don't Run Into the Mines, boys. Overlay. Thank you. Overlay. There we go. Always forget the overlay. You know, I'm actually not sure which map number it is. I'd have to check the file. Do you want me to check the file? I'll check the file real quick. Let's see. Opening up round data. The file number is 1. Really? This is Battlespace 1? I thought Battlespace 1 was really weird. Huh. Well, it worked in testing. So let's take a look at these fleets. So Dizzy 2 Electric Boogaloo has a Odyssey. To start them off, an Odyssey with 1 Falcon Wing and Tachyon Lance, high intensity laser, so a lot of constant HE and then burst damage. Locust on the side, anti-fighter, anti-frigate. And I see 3 Sabos. sabots. And a couple of IR pulse for hard flux, and a ring of point defense, and one ion cannon on the nose. For hull mods, we have expanded missile racks, ITU, and resistant flux conduits. Interesting, the vents are nowhere near maxed. Oh. So it's not too flux deficit, and if I look at the weapon groups, let's see, sabots are on alternating, and the tac laser high intensity laser together is 961. So it can fire its two main guns at the same time and still be under dissipation. Next up, we have the Fireball Destroyer. Let's see, that was the Coroller Odyssey. Fireball Destroyer, I see 2 flaks, 2 Plasma Flamers, an Assault Chain Gun, 4 Harpoon Missiles, expanded missile racks, and safety overrides, with just enough vents to keep it going. So this has some AoE point defense, some general purpose, screw you, I'm going to burn you down, and the mildly overpowered Assault Chain Gun with its 600 HE DPS. And it also has, let's see, that is 24 harpoons with expanded missile racks to finish overloaded ships off. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. Oh, but they're not all the same. They're not all the same. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are fireballs. And we have the Buzzsaw Destroyer. The Buzzsaw with 2 heavy mortars, 2 heavy machine guns, 1 dual flak cannon, expanded missile racks, and safety overrides. So a similar concept, only with significantly more kinetic and a bit longer ranged high explosive, except that's going to be severely curtailed by the safety overrides. So still kinetic and HE combo with the dual flak on front to stop missiles. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those Buzzsaw Enforcers for a total of 8 SO Enforcers. Now we have Omens! Everyone loves Omens, the obvious frigate. With Tactical Lance for poking, PD Laser, a Salamander, which is boosted by the built-in ECCM package, of the EMP emitter, of course, which does a ton of damage, Hardened Shields plus 10 capacitors for 10,000 effective hit points, Hardened Shields, I already said that, Hardened Subsystems for longer life, and Unstable Injector to make it even faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So we have 6 obvious frigates, 4 buzzsaws, 4 fireballs, and the Quarreler. And I looked at stuff, so I'm going to reset. Up against them is Johan. Don't run into the mines. Hi, Johan, I see you're here. We're looking at your fleet. So we have the Falcon missile-only, totally original idea. It's your match, Johan. This is the first match. We haven't started yet. So we have the totally original idea. 2 Sabos up front, 2 Harpoons in the back, 2 Reapers, expanded missile racks, converted hangar Wasp, with a couple of PD lasers and lots of capacitors. So this ship has actually like a ton of hit points. 13,000 divided by 0.8 shield hit points. Checking the weapon group, yes, it's linked. Same trick. Next we have the Omen Ion Pulse, and it has an IR Pulse and an Ion Cannon, and an Ion Torpedo Rack. Stabilized Shields and Hardened Shields. Again, that 10 caps, Hardened Shields for 10,000 effective hit points. No Unstable Injector on this one, so it is slower than the other fleet. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more Falcon missile-onlys. Another Omen Ion Pulse, another Falcon missile-only, and one of the Apogee Plasmas. So let's see, we have a Plasma Cannon up front, Locust on the side, Sabo, some Burst PD, and Heavy Burst PD with a pair of Tactical Lasers for poking. It has ITU, Stabilized Shields, and not quite maxed vents. It looks like it has, it's just too many weapons to max out the vent, but Plasma Cannons require 825 flux per second, so it will be building up some flux firing its main gun, but it's slow, so probably won't be firing its main gun constantly. Alright. So there we have it. This will be a best of 3 match. We'll start with Dizzy as the player side, quote unquote. Then we'll switch, and if we need to, we'll do a tiebreaker. Let's fight Johan versus Dizzy. Now, this is an altered battlescape with only one Only one capture point, so we shouldn't see anyone, like, running ahead like it did previously. Alright, so from the south, we have two different kinds of enforcers and the flagship with some omens. Bunch of salamanders. Salamanders are going to get completely stopped by the omens and all those mines they're dropping. Now the mines have a limited lifetime and then they all poof out. It's very pretty. Now as these are converted hanger wasps, they have extremely low hit points. I think a single ion arc from an omen is enough to pop one of these wasps. Alright, on this side. Ooh, two of them hitting at the exact same time. The kinetic and the HE combo. Yes, that is most of the shield hit points there. And we have an overload, but the dual flak saved this enforcer completely. The Falcon P is down. However, on the other side, it looks like an enforcer was down on that side too. So we have a one-ship exchange for each side. In the middle, we have... Oh, that was interesting. The Sabos from the Odyssey destroyed the Sabos from the Falcons. Oh, over here, that enforcer got burst down and destroyed. Let's see, this enforcer is backing off. This one has plenty of flak. Those harpoons are not a threat, but those Sabos almost got the overload. Alright, it's backing off. We have the Apogee fighting an enforcer. And nothing really decisive happening here. The Odyssey looks like it keeps firing and then backing off, which is not necessarily a bad call. If it gets hit by too many Sabos at the same time, it is not going to survive. The Apogee with its plasma cannon is too much for the weak shields of this enforcer. It's backing off. Oh, we have an overload. However, there are two omens in front of the overload. They might take care of those harpoons. Well, they took care of a lot of them. Oh, but the other harpoons flamed out. So that is just wasted harpoons. Every moment, every missile that gets fired off and doesn't get a kill is one more missile that these Falcons don't have. And once they're out of missiles, they are done. Ooh, Tachyon Lance pierced the shields there a little bit. Omens are made of paper underneath their shields. So far, this Odyssey hasn't done much other than just holding the Falcons off, but that is still very valuable. Let's see, the enforcers are starting to time out. Ooh, oh, that's an omen down. A lot of ships focusing that omen. And an omen on this side down as well. Ooh, this enforcer is about to get double teamed. That is not good. And the Falcon got out of the range of the Odyssey. Oh, almost an overload. Oh, and overloaded by the EMP. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. Now, the Omen did block a lot of the missiles. That's not enough missiles for kill. Oh, and the shield's back on. Alright, on this side, we have just some Omen fighting. Not very exciting. This Enforcer is almost dead, but not quite. Not quite. Yeah, the lack of hard flux other than Sabos means that this Odyssey is not really doing much. It's not doing nothing, but it's not doing much. Let's see if it gets the overload from these Sabos. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the overload. This Enforcer panic fired because it had so little hit points. Yeah, nothing's going to follow up. That's a wasted overload. This Odyssey really needs some hard flux. I'm not even sure this Odyssey can beat this Apogee. Because it's going to run out of missiles too, and it has no... Well, I guess it has its IR pulses. So this fleet is doing quite well against the Falcon and Enforcer spam. It has managed to stall out a huge number of Sabos. Yep, looks like an Enforcer did die up here, though. This is anyone's fight. Oh, this Enforcer is so almost dead. Over here, an overloaded Enforcer takes another pair of harpoons, but it's just not enough to kill it. And there's the Ions again, protecting the Enforcer. The Enforcers, however, are starting to run out of CR really quickly. This Odyssey has survived, but it has no firepower. So I don't know what this Odyssey is gonna be able to do, to be perfectly honest. Oh, whole bunch of harpoons from the Enforcers, but it was against a full shield target. They're panic firing because they're low CR. They did kill an Omen over here. That's good. Okay, yes, this Enforcer instantly died. Odyssey tries to get close enough to use its IR Pulse, but it's too cowardly and it backs off. I suppose all it needs to do is wait out the Falcons. But then it has to kill the Apogee, and I don't know if this Odyssey can kill that Apogee. It's a very weak Odyssey. Very tanky, apparently. But, yeah. The fight goes on. Let's see, we have another Overload up here. There's 8 Harpoons, and the Locusts and Harpoons finish the job. So, yeah, the Enforcers have too low CR to be able to do anything. We'll see how this goes. It depends on how many of these ships are out of missiles. If they completely run out of missiles, then the Pirate Falcons are useless, but if they don't run out of missiles, then the Apogee will definitely kill the Odyssey. Of course, the Odyssey might CR out the Apogee, because the Odyssey is faster than the Apogee and it can just keep running away. This might turn into a CR duel. Now, there are plenty of ships left, but again, these Omens have no hard flux damage, so they can't bring down shields. Timeout should be running, unless Astralter changed the settings. I don't know if Astralter changed the settings or not. Yep, there's an Enforcer down. Let's see, how are these Falcon Ps doing? No, they still full CR. This is a long fight. Alright, the Apogee is closing in on the Odyssey. I don't think the Odyssey has the firepower to kill an Apogee. However, it all depends on the number of missiles left. Oh! That was 2 Reapers! A lucky 2 Reapers hit, and that's going to be a kill. Absolutely. So there's that super wide spread you get from linked Reapers. The Enforcer just couldn't dodge. Let's see, there's some other duels happening, but this is the main action. Let's see, I wonder if the Odyssey has any Sabos left. Theoretically, it could launch a 6 Sabo volley, but in practice, I'm not sure. And these Wasps with their mines actually do shoot down a good number of Sabos. Alright, there's that Apogee with its plasma cannon, but the Omen is too fast. The Omen only has 32% CR. This'll end eventually. Unfortunately, no, the player cannot make adjustments between fights. This is a... Oh, there's the timeout. Alright, so timeout is enabled. Personalities should now be set to Reckless. And we'll see if that does anything. Now, this does have IR pulse lasers, which could eventually bring down shields, only this is pretty much the first time it's been close enough to use them. Yes, the Omen has failed the Emperor. So there it goes. Now the Odyssey is at least trying. A little bit. No, now it's backing off. Now it's backing off. It's too cowardly. The IR pulses give it a little bit of hard flux, but it keeps backing off. Don't back off. These ships might be out of... No, I see Reapers on both of them. You can see them. So they still have some missiles left. So IR pulses are just simply... they're very weak and they're very short-ranged. Alright, now the Apogee is finally here. Oop, there's that 6 Sabo that I was talking about. It did all of 10% of the damage here. However, the lack of venting, remember this Apogee only has 20 vents, means that it actually has quite a bit of soft flux. I think I was wrong. I think this Odyssey can take out the Apogee. The Apogee doesn't really have enough flux to fire its main weapon. Yep, there go the shields. Now, is this Falcon P gonna fire? It's fired some Reapers. It needs to fire its Sabos and get the overload. There's the Sabos, and there's the overload. Now, it has Reapers left, but it just fired them. And there comes the Harpoons, there come the Reapers, and it's dead. Yep. There it goes. So I was wrong. The Odyssey did have enough firepower. It was killing the Apogee. But, yeah, just not enough bang. Not nearly enough bang. It did stall for a long time. 3% CR. 2% CR. And shotguns. I'll blow you away. And there we go. I think that is the fight. A reasonably close, if very long fight, where Dizzy's Enforcers traded pretty well with these Falcons, but then they ran out of CR, and the Odyssey really didn't do much more than stall, unfortunately. Okay, this is best of 3, so now we get to the same fight from the different side. Thrilling. But it's only fair. So, coming from the south side, we have the definitely not stolen Falcons. Some Ion Omens, and the Apogee. The Apogee actually did extremely well against the Enforcers in the last round. We'll see how it does this round. Okay, we have some Sabo launches. Some of them got taken out by the EMP, but not many. Alright, the Enforcers are closing in. Oh, that was actually good. It didn't overload. Oh, there it overloaded. And it dodged one. Did not dodge enough. And there's another overload. But this time, nothing to follow up on that overload. So one Enforcer down. The Falcon actually took very, very little damage. They have the... These Falcon Ps have 13,000 divided by 0.8. They're actually very tanky. They can absorb a ton of damage. Alright, another Sabo Barrage and an instant overload. Reapers did miss, so no kill yet. This is not going nearly as well for Dizzy as last time. Last time it managed to wait out a lot of Harpoons using kind of like coordinated point defense. But this time it's just not working, and that's that. Now down here, yeah, this ship just really just can't do much. It's all soft flux. Up here, it's a single Falcon taking on 2 Enforcers. It got the overload. Not going to get the kill quite yet. And there it is. The Omen has very high flux. Overloaded and popped. Alright, on this side, we have the Odyssey attempting to take down an Omen and a Falcon. I doubt it will manage it. But there's the Sabos for the shotgun. But no Tachyon launch shot missed. There's an Ion Torpedo. Another Ion Torpedo. It's totally disabled. And there's the Harpoons for the kill. Alright, so I might have missed something, but I haven't actually seen any kills for Dizzy's side quite yet. Last match went pretty well. Oh, that's going to be a Reaper and a lot of Harpoons. Oh, a little bit of damage to a Falcon down here. Oh, there's an Omen down. The Falcon is coming in. It takes some it takes some Sabos. There it goes. There's that Tachyon Lance punching through. But it's just not very high DPS. Tachyon Lances are actually relatively low in raw DPS. They just make up for it with the bolt, with the burst. So I doubt that these Enforcers are reckless, as they haven't really been attacking very much. Oh, 2v1 down here. Now that Omen with just absorbed all the shots from 4 Sabos, and it didn't overload. That's a lot of shield hit points. Now here's the overload on the Enforcer, because it has a crap shield. And harpoons are going to finish it. Oh, no, no, shields up. And overloaded again, because it has crap shields. I'm just waiting to see how long this Enforcer can survive. A while. Alright, now we have the Odyssey on Apogee fight again. Now, in this case, the Odyssey can duel the Apogee. It's actually pretty good at it. But it's going to overload pretty soon. There's some harpoons hitting. One more Sabo burst. There are the Reapers. Yep, overload and hit. And harpoons are coming in. So the Odyssey can take out the Apogee, but it can't kill these Falcons. Now, is that it? Nope, there are a few ships left. Enforcer meets harpoons. Yep. It's amazing how, yeah, the Enforcers do survive for a long time. Like, a lot of other ships were dying much faster versus the Falcons. Alright. This looks like it's only going to end one way. Yes, this is only going to end one way. Let's just speed this up. There we go. And there it is. That is the fight. Much more lopsided this time. Johan nearly shames, but there's an omen down. And that is the fight. So, Johan will advance to the next round, and Dizzy is out. I just want to check one thing. Interesting. Okay. Up next, we have SafariJohn versus HGScout. And again, we'll be doing a best of 3 of Paragon versus Paragon. So let's take a look at these two fleets. For this Paragon, we have pretty standard build with heavy needlers for kinetic, tachyon lances for the burst, auto pulse lasers for general DPS and recharging when the fortress shield is up, some ion beams for lockdown, and some various small mounts for anti-fighter and point defense, some hornets, stabilized shields, hardened shields, flux distributor to bring this up to max, extended magazines to get these auto pulses up to 45 charges each, I believe. Am I wrong about that? Nah, 45 charges each, and accelerated shields. Backing this Paragon up, we have some support Tempests with Phase Lance and Ion Beam. 1, 2. Oh, these are different. Let me do a quick reset, make sure there's nothing hinky going on. Yes, these are different. So one of them has Sabots, the other has Salamanders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Mixed Tempest, and then some Afflictors, support Afflictors with Hammers and Contenders. And they have ECM and Nav Relay to give their team a speed boost and an ECM boost. Hardened subsystems to keep them going, and max caps so they can stay in phase. 1, 2, 3 of those. Now let's see, as a reminder, the Afflictor has the Entropy Amplifier, so it'll be able to increase the damage being dealt to some targets, in addition to spiking in a little bit of HE and some torpedoes itself. Now we have some Phase PD frigates. Shades are similar to Omens that they have the EMP emitter, but of course no shields of their own. Now this has the classic Phase weapon, an antimatter blaster, 2 IR pulse lasers, a swarmer, and a sabot. Hardened subsystems to keep it going, 10 caps to stay in phase, and 8 vents for faster recovery. 1, 2 of those, and 2 close support wolves, with sabots, expanded missile racks, tactical lasers, an ion beam, and advanced optics, so that'll be 1200 range on these beams. And 2 of those. Facing them is another Paragon. HGScout's Bounty Hunters Paragon has 4 autopulse lasers, the 2 heavy needlers, some mini blaster arrays and burst PDs, more point defense in the back, 4 salamanders, stabilized shields, IPDAI, hardened shields, flux distributor, again with 50 vents for maximum flux, expanded magazines, so each of these is going to have 45, that's a lot of damage, as they say, and advanced turret gyros. Next up, we have a drover. This is a support drover with Xiphos. I really like drover Xiphos. With 4 salamanders, 2 Vulcans, and hardened subsystems. Hold on just a sec. I am not in streamer mode, so you all heard those pings. Alright, let me just fix that. Okay, sorry about that. Well, those will be showing up on the stream. So, we have these drover support carriers. 1, 2, 3 of those. We have some defense tempests with pulse laser, heavy burst laser, ITU for a little bit more range, hardened subsystems, max vents and almost max, max vents and almost max caps. 1, 2, 3 of those. Now we have omens. Omens with light phase lance, a ship and weapon pack weapon, which does exactly what it sounds. It's a smaller phase lance. And 1 IR pulse for hard flux, a flare gun, ECCM flare gun. Excellent. Hardened subsystems, stabilized shields, vents and caps. Now this doesn't have hardened shields, so it has respectable shield hit points, but not quite 10,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those omens. So, Paragon, Tempest and Phase and a couple wolves versus Paragon, Drovers, Tempest and Omens. Let's fight. Coming up from the south, we have a swarm. A swarm. Coming from the north, Paragon is nearly in firing range. Paragon on Paragon is starting. So we see that it's actually relatively even. The South Paragon is getting a lot more support. The ion beams from the Tempest have done some disable. Oh, that red glow means that this is taking plus 50% damage, but South Paragon does vent first. Not critical. Ooh, there's those Tachyon Lances getting through. Interesting. South is dropping its shields a lot. North keeps getting hit by Afflictors. Oh, the Afflictors have actually gone away. That's very good news for South Paragon. Or North Paragon. Oh, Afflictor's back. But again, it's just... this Paragon isn't firing to take advantage. Now it's firing to take advantage. That plus 50% damage makes a huge difference. I mean, of course it does. Yep, looks like South Paragon is going to win this pretty handily. It took a small amount of damage, but it had a pretty much constant plus 50% boost from the Afflictors. And there it goes. So that's the Paragon down. We'll see whether the rest of this fleet can do anything, but it looks like it's been pretty well corralled into one spot. These have actually been very, yeah, quite drawn-out fights on both sides. A lot of ion. Yeah, so they've been pushed against the map edge. This map is a little smaller than the previous one we were using. And again, these Xiphos, I mean, look at how many Xiphos that is. It's a huge number of Xiphos, but they have no hard flux. So they can't scratch a Paragon. Yeah, this is just going to be a slaughter. These small ships are rounded up. They can't circle the Paragon because they have to deal with everything else. And the Paragon is just going to roll in and kill them one by one. Yeah, this isn't pretty. These frigates are all they didn't spread out in the map at all. Kind of bad luck there. So they have no room to maneuver. And yeah, it's all over. Okay, so South Paragon did take a little bit of damage, and it looked like it might have lost its duel one-on-one, but it had excellent support from these Ion Beam Tempests and from the Afflictor. Let's see, anything? There's one Omen left. There it goes. And that is it. Ooh, that is a shame. That is a shame for that fight. So, we'll be doing this one more time. We'll see whether it can turn around. I'm just going to do a quick reset. Round 2, fight! And this Omen here is skirmishing on the sides, but it's not very aggressive, and there's not much it can do against phase ships that stay in phase. And it looks like this Omen is slower than the phase ships, so it can't chase them down anyway. Oh, there's the overload. Oh, Phase Lance! Yep, Phase Lance will pop an Omen in one shot. Alright, fight has started again. South Paragon again has done some damage to North Paragon, but there's the entropy amplification. It's a lot of shield. It's a lot of venting there. It's kind of weird. It's taking unnecessary damage. Oh, that was a rough hit. Yeah, it's just... I guess it's keeping its flux low, but it's taking unnecessary damage. There's the damage boost from the Afflictor. Flux is high on South Paragon. Oof. Yes, maybe this North one is reckless, and that's why it keeps lowering its shields. You know, here I am saying it's taking unnecessary damage, but it certainly is getting the kill, isn't it? Oh, torpedo hit from the Afflictor with plus 50% damage. Autopulse and Tachyon Lances do most of the rest of the hull. And that's it. Paragon is crushed. The Xiphos swarm could have made the difference there. If the Xiphos had been north, and they had fired on this Paragon while its shields were down, then that could have disabled it, but unfortunately they were not, and this is only going to end one way. Paragon slowly closing in. Again, these ships have been corralled into a tiny area. This map might be a little small. We might want to rethink this map a little bit, but it certainly got the action together. And there's a kill. So not too much suspense this time around. It looks like these matches were both very decisive. We had one near stall with an Odyssey that just couldn't quite do it, and then we had Paragon on Paragon, where the builds were relatively comparable, but one side's support was much better than the other side's support. Now it's just swarming and killing. This will be over shortly. And there we go. Oh, no, not quite. This drover is actually hanging on a long time. The Paragon is getting its shot blocked by its allies. There it goes. And just a few ships left. Now that was enough to overload the Omen. These Omens do not have hardened shields. They don't quite have the same hit points. And they're also more vulnerable to EMP arcs. Tempest down. Tempest down. We did see the ships spreading out in the previous battles. It's more that this fleet is extremely good at corralling its enemies into a small area. And I think the defensive nature of the drovers and then the escort orders just kept them all bunched up. And that's it. So, 2 shames in a row. These phase ships were much too much for this fleet to handle. And that is it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Since we had we had best out of 3, but they were all decided in 2 matches, so only 4 rounds this time. I hope you have all enjoyed it. Next round, let me bring up the card, will be Nemo on Monday at 7:30 UTC. I hope you all come back and watch the rest of the tourney. As the number of players whittles down, we will soon get to the finals. Right. Thanks everyone for dropping by. Oh, do we want a cage match between my fleet and Dizzy's real quick? I'm okay with a cage match. Do you have a fleet submitted? Because it takes a bit of, gotta make sure it works and everything. That doesn't always work out. We can do a cage match at a later time. Come to the Discord server and talk about it. We'll do some cage matches. Oh, you're Soup. Oh, you're Soup. All right, let me take a look. Okay, your number. Well, the thing is, oh yeah, you were gonna be next. Do people want to watch Soup versus Dizzy? We can do a bonus round, Soup versus Dizzy. Okay, give me just a sec. I have to change the rounds file. Let's see. Soup, you are player 19. The stream must go on. All right, I have changed it. And let's just get back. Ruh-roh. That's not a good thing. Current player 19 data.csv resource not found. Why is that not found? That should be found. Just a second. What madness is this? What terrible madness. Da-da-da. I'm not sure why this is not popping up. I see the file in the folder. This should only take me 1 minute. Give me 60 seconds, folks. Give me 60 seconds. You're player 19. I will swap out. I will put you back in. We will see if that fixes it and we can get this grudge match in. There we go. Soup versus Dizzy. I knew I could get it. This is also why I try to test things beforehand. So, Dizzy, Soup has challenged Dizzy to a fight, and Dizzy's not here to defend himself, so we're just going to let it happen. So here is Soup / Destroyer 2319 with Kierkegaard's Robust Clowns. We have a very point defense Paragon with some overlays on. Overlay is always on. Ah, I changed back so I could advertise Nemo. Advertising Nemo is key. So we have some Paladin PDs, some lightning guns, some heavy burst lasers, and a whole bunch of attacks, flare guns, and auto pulses with advanced optics, expanded magazines, IPDI, shield conversion front, and stabilized shields. And we have these lovely Kefka destroyers that we've seen since the beginning with their plasma flavors and light dual machine guns. We have some Tempests. A lot of Tempests. A lot of Tempests. And that's the fleet. First is the same one we saw before from Dizzy. Alright. It's okay. I'm probably only going to do one of these. This will be best of one. Alright, so we have Paragons. Paragons? What? Enforcers rushing ahead against other SO Enforcers. The Paragon is going up to the Odyssey. Tempest has been quickly killed by the Enforcers. Oh, their lightning guns are firing. Oh, the Odyssey is already... It's fluxed out. It's taking a lot of damage. But not too much follow-up. The Enforcer is quickly retreating. Look at those Paladins. Just firing over. However, it appears that these Omens and Enforcers are seriously destroying the Kefkas. The Kefkas just couldn't... are not standing up being against twice their number. Let's see, this Tempest is backing off. Is it going to make it? It's overloaded. It's overloaded, but I think it's far enough away. Kefka overloaded by harpoons, and more harpoons inbound. It's probably not going to survive. Tempest down here. Again, died to the Omen and Enforcer barrage. Paragon dumping its mags. Completely fluxed out the Odyssey. But not enough sustained damage. Not enough sustained damage, so even though the Odyssey is super high flux, there's no follow-up. Now the Paragon is surrounded with SO Enforcers. We'll see what it can do here. It doesn't have any hard flux weapons on the back. And SO Enforcers, because they're SO, have very good dissipation. Paragon is surrounded. I don't think this is going to go very well at all. So it looks like the Paragon here was a winner over the Odyssey, but these Enforcers are too powerful. He who brings the more Enforcers wins the battle. Too many Enforcers swarmed the other Enforcers, and now this Paragon just it's totally knocked out, and it is done. So there you have it. Soup versus Dizzy. Not quite your own Enforcers. It was half had kinetics, half had flamers plus chain guns, and that was a pretty rough match for you, Soup. So Dizzy, even though he's knocked out of the tournament, gets his revenge against Soup, and that is going to be it for the stream. Thank you everyone for dropping by. It was fun to do a grudge match. I'm turning the overlay back on because I am advertising for Monday, 7:30 UTC, which is Nemo. So come by, watch Nemo do another fairly short stream, and and that should be good. No, wait, Lightning JC says, no, I have another possible fleet to thing. Fleet to thing. Do I have your fleet to thing? Because if I don't have your fleet to thing, then I can't. All right. See everyone later. Have a good one, and I'll chat with you when Nemo's broadcasting. Bye.